This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Amen, brother. Amen. Wow. You've even exceeded the expectations that. Oh, is that my fault or yours? Hold on.
Oh, no, not again.
I had it cranked in here.
That would explain.
I think it's the speaker.
Yeah, turn on the speaker.
I had it cranked at full decibel. Generally, you wouldn't crank Kenny Rogers at full decibel unless he was doing, I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in, but you had me on the first note.
What about Islands in the Stream?
I'm not a big duet guy, but I really like Kenny and Dolly. I mean, what a pair. You had me at the first note, Denby. As soon as I heard ding, 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 and that was it. I knew it. And then I wondered, I thought, is he going to do Wilder Wolves? And then I saw it was Wild. And then I thought, yeah, there he is, rubbing his grubby little hockey gloves together. And then all of a sudden you came back with the Wolves, and I said, no. He's doing a double montage, not like we've done before where you have one going and then you had that screech of the record stopping and then going to another. This, you blended the two together and you did it seamlessly. And as we've brought up before, these only people that understand the montage and the care, the technique, the love that has to go into it could understand, because you've talked about this before. When You Put Your Heart in It is one of the greatest pieces of montage music ever created. But it's very difficult because the placement of the sound, they have to be very short and succinct, but they have to make sense. And you nailed it, man, from the very beginning.
This is the longest I ever spent on a montage.
Yeah.
It took me quite a bit of time.
And now it's gone, and you can't
it's
hear
over. Yeah.
And you can't hear it on the on the podcast.
Just for 4 minutes, yeah.
That shows the loyalty and dedication you have to the Grum, which, quite frankly, I've never seen before. I'm just so happy to see it. Maybe you haven't. I thought maybe you were just basically FedEx Friday, FedUp Friday, that you might just mail it in, phone it in Friday, but you didn't. You put your heart into that, is what you did. And
we could replay it at the end of the show today.
I think we should.
Give it a second look.
I think we should do that. Tenneby is my daytime hero. Comment, I just listened to Tenna's montage while shopping at Kowalski's and literally ran through a wall, knocking over some large man. Perhaps Mark Rosen? Great job. Wall smash? Great montage. My drywall business's schedule just filled up. People are running through walls. I think you made the sun come out. Well, he says Tennessee. It must have been one of those spell check things.
Autocorrect?
Yes. I own a brick wall building company in the South Metro. Because of the montage, 10AB has guaranteed me I'll be in business rebuilding brick walls all over the Twin Cities for the next 6 months. 10AB and I would be interested in an endorsement for you.
Sure. We'd love to do that.
We'd love to do an endorsement for your brick wall building company. 10AB's best montage ever. Chills me, boy. How about this one? Coworker, are you crying? Is everything okay? Me, I just have something in my eye. And then he says, in quotes, keep on believing. Let's play. Think about a coworker. Is everything okay? I just got something in my eye. I didn't want to admit that he was overcome with emotion from the montage. This one goes to 11. Oh, how about this? Great montage, Tenneby. Today's my birthday, so thank you for that birthday montage. So you think about the birthday present you just gave him. Welcome back to the spotlight, young man. I've heard enough. Time to put Tenneby on ice. I've heard enough. It's time to remove the interim label. Time after time, the interim producer single-handedly saves the 12-3 program with a beautiful montage. Well done, young man. Time after time. And at the very end, she goes, after she says time after time, she goes, time after time, time after. And then the very last thing she says is time. So she shortens it each time. Have you ever noticed that at the end of the song?
It's a great song.
It's one of the best songs of all time. Twin Cities downtowns are being flooded by tears of joy. Then there's this one. I feel bad for 10. All that hard work and a montage for two teams about to get bounced in the first round. As the late, great Dark Star would say, well, there's that. They probably won't get bounced in the first round. But you know what?
You know how many times we've played that? And then, it ends.
But guess what?
5 games later.
We're doing the best we can to help out. Matter of fact, you know what else I'm doing, Tennessee? Be listening later next week. I think I'm about to come across a couple of tickets for that Wild game.
Really?
And I think they're very, let's just put it this way, Tennessee. I would describe them as sweet tickets.
Really?
Yeah, they're sweet.
For a playoff game?
Let's just say I'm pulling a few strings, is what I'm trying
It's very
to
nice
do.
of you.
You pulled heartstrings. I'm pulling ticket strings because you did tug on some heartstrings today, Tennessee. Well done. Wild and Wolves both getting away, and they both play tomorrow, right?
No, Wild play Sunday.
That's right, Sunday. Wild Sunday. Wolves tomorrow, 7:30. And then what's the 9 o'clock for the Wild?
9 o'clock Sunday. That's an early one for us.
And then 10 o'clock
10 o'clock
on Tuesday, right?
which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It does seem to be a bit on the odd side. We'll break. We'll come back. Right now, though, bonus bucks, and then when are we going to do Purple Parade?
We're going to have to do that at like 12:30 today.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do it at 12:15 or?
Sure. If you want, we can do Purple Parade next.
Let's do that. Let's do Purple Parade next. Right now, Tennessee's got a keyword.
Yeah, the fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot to win big bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword ground at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is ground. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Ball.
Hey, we got your shot to win Timberwolves versus Lakers Game 3 tickets. Send us your Wolves back, talk back on the iHeartRadio app, telling us in 30 seconds or less how you think the Timberwolves beat the Lakers in this series. Stay tuned all day to hear if you were selected as a winner.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He's Tennessee. Before we do, Purple Prey, I forgot the name of it for a second. I want to do peek at the PST, brought to you by Affordable Electric, affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com is your place to go. They're your old home specialists. They know everything about it. Have them come over to your place and do a whole home look-see at your house to make sure everything's safe and sound. Safety comes first with Affordable Electric. Affordable Electric is shockingly affordable. This is a PST from Yahoo Sports. In the final seconds of the opening hour of his show Tuesday, PA told his producer, Eric Norquist, along with millions of loyal listeners, the Vikings like Brett Ripien more than I think people would imagine. Millions of listeners. Now,
I always love that one.
I know the Paul Allen Project is very popular. I think millions might be a tad more than, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just envy and jealousy. And then there's this one. This is different, but Big Ticket antenna couldn't disagree more on Wild start times. Let's get Big Ticket on them to battle it out. I don't know what it sounds like. Big Ticket's take.
He disagreed?
Well, it must be, hey, games are the game. Just, do it. And it's like.
I'm guessing he did the Wolves aren't relevant.
No.
I don't know. Well,
No, my guess is it was probably suck it up. It's playoffs, and it's easy to say when you don't work till 3, right? I mean, I am definitely. I think my guess is he was just trying to be the contrarian, right?
Yeah.
You just do the bit where most people that work a regular shift, they got to get up in the morning, and that does make it inconvenient for them. The game starts at 10 o'clock. Game is usually 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's 12:30, and then by the time you get to bed, it's fall asleep. Especially if it's an electrifying game, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You're getting up at let's say 5:30 or 6 to go to work. It is inconvenient for people. So
Not only that, like I have the capacity to think outside of myself, and my kids can't watch playoff hockey.
Yes.
Right? Like if you're trying to grow the game.
Where's the aw? Do you have that anywhere on there?
Oh.
Yeah.
If you're trying to grow the game and think long term with your sport and what's best for your sport, the children ain't going to watch the 10 o'clock games. So, and even your casual, even adults, right? Like this isn't just about me. It's about other people getting to watch the game of hockey and grow the game. Is your average sports fan that, I might like hockey, might tune in, but don't know? Are they going to stay up at 10 o'clock to watch? No, they're not.
Do you know what my solution is? Just go to bed and then read about it the next day. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm well aware of that.
That's what I'm going to do. Let's,
Did you do peek at the purple, by the way?
Yeah, I just did peek at the purple.
Okay, you did the ad?
Yeah, so I did the ad for that. Okay. And now you're going to do another sponsor segment. It's entitled
Purple Pray, Purple Pray.
It's time now for Purple Pray.
Purple Pray, Purple Pray.
An in-depth look at who the Vikings should target in the NFL Draft.
Purple Pray, Purple Pray.
With the 12th pick in the 2011 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Christian Ponder.
I want to hear who Tanner thinks that we should draft today.
Colin, what do you think of the tight end position for the Minnesota Vikings?
I think we have a top 5 tight. I think we have a top 5 tight end. He might be the best tight end in pro football. Hawk and Fuss. Yeah, I think we're in a decent spot there. Did we bring who was our backup that we really liked for a while?
Oliver was like our blocking guy.
Yeah. Is he still around or is he gone?
I'm not sure. I think he might be gone.
Put it this way. I think you like Hawkinson a little better than I do. I think he's a very talented kid. He's certainly worth having as your number one tight end. But I don't know. I'd say it's a position that I don't think we have the market cornered on. I'd be interested to see who Tenneby thinks we should take a tight end.
Yeah, I think TJ Hawkinson's a quality tight end. Top 5-ish, top 8-ish maybe now. Now the guys like Brock Bowers have emerged onto the scene. But his cap hit this year is $16.6 million. Next year, his cap hit is $21.4 million. 2027, the last year of his contract, that cap hit is $23.4 million.
Yeah, that's way too much for
I see a scenario though, even though you like him, you might not think he's worth the cap hit. So tight end position, maybe not this year, but in the next couple of years, might be a position of need. And this is a good tight end draft. So if you feel like you need to fill in that spot eventually, this might be the year to do it because there's some high-end tight ends. There's probably going to be 2 going in the first round. There's also some depth at the position. I would like them maybe around that compensatory pick they have to draft this guy.
Set to throw on first down. Wide open. Harold Fannin Jr. inside the 30. Makes a man miss. Inside the 10. Touchdown, Bowling Green. Harold Fannin Jr. 65-yard touchdown to start the second half.
Yeah, Harold Fannin Jr. He's a tight end out of Bowling Green. 6'3", 241 pounds. Played 3 years in college. Age, he's not even 21 years old yet.
No.
Still 20 years old. He was a 2-year starter at Bowling Green. He played you know this well because you played tight end.
Yes.
You played both sides of the ball. So did he in high school. He played both sides of the ball. But he was the A tight end position in head coach Scott Loeffler's pro-style spread offense. He moved around a little bit. He split snaps between inline and wing, 38.3%, slot, 31.7%, and out wide, 26.2%. And while he's not considered, like I said, there's 2 tight ends that are considered to be first round draft picks that might even, might go top 10-ish, in this year's draft. Well, they did not have a season like Harold Fannin Jr. just had. He had arguably the greatest tight end season in FBS history this past season. He set single season records for catches, 117, and receiving yards, 1,555. He became the first consensus All-American in Bowling Green history and just the second in their school's history of any sport. He was first-team All-MAC in 2023. This last year, like I said, consensus All-American. He was the MAC MVP. First time out. I think he's the first time in history of any college, any Offensive Player of the Year award that it went to a tight end in any of the big colleges. He was MAC Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-MAC, led FBS in catches and receiving yards, even though he was a tight end. Here's what I like about him. He has straight line explosiveness. He plays with athletic urgency into his routes.
No, he doesn't.
He uses his speed to challenge defenses both vertically and horizontally. Wow. And what I know you're going to like, because I know you've been critical of TJ Hawkinson, and he doesn't get the yak, right? And we had Kyle Rudolph before then. Doesn't get the yak. Not a problem with Harold Fannin Jr. He is great at run after catch. He has the body quickness to manipulate space, which helps him get free or force missed tackles. He also has that very physical stiff arm with good run balance to carry tacklers for extra yards. He has great hands. He's comfortable playing through contact, and he catches just about everything in his catch radius. He has great adjustment skills. Not the best blocker in the world, but he does have that range on pulling on sweeps or pitches as a lead blocker in split zone or ISO. Like I said, he set almost every Bowling Green record for a tight end. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Teneby, he played in the MAC.
That's
right?
what I was thinking. Exactly.
Yeah, you're thinking he put up huge numbers against lesser competition. And I would say you are partially correct, but I would also say he had 2 games last year against big-time schools.
Oh.
Bowling Green played Penn State. You know what he did against Penn State?
What did he do?
11 catches, 137 yards, and a tutty.
And that's tight end U. Or is that Iowa? Whatever.
Iowa is, but Penn State, they've got a tight end who's going to go top 10 this year.
His name is Carroll Channing. Carroll Channing.
They also played Texas A&M, who was a top 25 school. 8 catches, 145 yards, and 1 touchdown. Regardless of the competition, he had 117 catches in 13 games. I mean, and he's a tight end, so that's just absolutely bonkers. So, and he's still young. He does have some things from a route running standpoint that he needs to work out a little bit. But if you draft him, you got TJ Hawkinson for another year or two. You can develop him into being TJ Hawkinson's eventual replacement. So I would like the Vikings with that compensatory pick to select Harold Fannin Jr., tight end, Bowling Green.
Purple pray, purple pray.
Love purple play.
Oh, by the way, brought to you.
Purple pray, purple pray.
It's presented by Heating and Cooling 2. Go to heatcool2.com. That's heatcool2.com.
Purple pray, purple pray. I want to hear who Tanner thinks that we should draft today.
Boy, the show's been all Teneby so far, really. He put the great montage together, and now he put together his Purple Prey. You got anything for the next segment? I don't mind just kicking my feet off.
Nothing for the next segment, but I do want to mention and remind, I said it on the vibe coming in, but we are taking Wolves talkbacks today until 3 o'clock. And the best Wolves talkback will get a shot to win Timberwolves versus Lakers Game 3 tickets. So you just have to go to the iHeartRadio app, click on the KFAN station. There's a microphone button next to the play button. You have 30 seconds or less to tell us how you think the Timberwolves will beat the Lakers in this series, and then Common, you and I will select a winner before the end of the show.
Who's going to sift through them?
I will sift through them.
Oh, thank you.
But we can play a couple of them on the air, maybe that last segment.
Yeah, sure we can. Maybe we should let the talkback committee make the selection. We have a talkback committee, much like we have a preposterous statement tournament committee. We'll break. We'll come back. A little distat lat and controversial Vikings news next. Common Man program on the Fan.
Get ready for the next hilarious PayPal campaign with Will Ferrell singing his rendition of Fleetwood Mac's Go Your Own Way in a bathtub. Check out the teaser tonight and the commercial during basketball games this weekend.
Should be a couple of 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common. He is Teneby. Does the National Hockey League, do they do any of that silly play-in stuff to just attract more eyes, play more games, meaningless games against teams that are going nowhere in the playoffs, or do they just got your
8-8?
8-8.
Yeah.
So they don't do any of that. That play-in thing might be literally the most, and I know why they do it. It's all for money. It's just we can add. I don't even still really don't understand it. If you're 7 and you win, you're in automatically. If you're 8, then you get another chance against the 9-10 winner. Is that how it works?
So 7 and 8 play.
Right.
Winner gets the 7 seed.
Okay.
9 and 10 play each other. Winner advances to face the loser of the 7-8 game,
Yeah, okay.
and then the winner of that game gets the 8 seed.
Have you ever heard of anything more preposterous in your entire life? I wouldn't forget late starts. I wouldn't watch that game if it was on at 12 noon. Because I'd be listening to the comment.
You won't be watching Dallas versus Memphis tonight?
It does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. Got this text message courtesy of the, this is actually an email. I'm sorry. This was to comment at KFAN.com. It says, why do you say crick when it's spelt creek? Grandmaster disc golf guy. He says it's spelt. I don't think spelt. Why do you say spelt when the word is spelled? I don't think spelt is a word to you, but I like it. Same reason he uses spelt is the reason I use crick. It's just I like the way it sounds. Much like, Tenneby, are you a data or data guy?
I'm a data guy.
Yeah, and I'm a data guy.
Are you a program or program?
Yeah, and I'm a program guy. I also like Washington rather than Washington.
Are you moot or mute?
I say mute. I say Falcons rather than Falcons. So it's just.
You like Jaguar versus Jaguar.
That's exactly right. And I say
or Jaguar.
And I say oil instead of oil. If you're from down south, you just go, I'm going to go change my oil. I say oil. And you can say oil if you want, but I say oil. Much like I'm fixing to do this and I'm fixing to do that. I don't mind you using the word fixing, but the only thing you can fix is dinner and games. So that would be it. So that's my explanation. Just thought I'd lay it on those people out there. I don't want to get too much into it, about the start times, because I guess must have been a big topic on big tickets. It must not have been a lot going on yesterday afternoon. I'm just taking cheap shots. Sorry. I find JG also ripped the grow the game bit in regards to kids being able to watch.
He ripped that?
Yeah, sounds like a fan. And JG sounds like a fan schism, me boy. I haven't given it enough thought. I two things. I don't care about growing the game. If you want to watch the game, right? And if you want your kids to get into hockey and watch the game, then, they might have to stay up a little later. But I understand, though, I don't think the NHL, quite frankly, should be having whatever game is in your market. Now, again, you could say, well, the Golden Knights, are they Mountain Time or are they West Coast time?
They're West Coast time.
They're West Coast time.
Yeah, it's 2 hours difference.
So then the game is 8 o'clock their time, right? So, could you split the difference? 9 and 7? I get, to me, that would make more sense. But my guess is there's a double header and they're playing another game on the East Coast.
It's actually a triple header. That's why it's so late.
Yeah. So
they have like a game that is going to be 5 o'clock our time on the East Coast, 7:30 our time on the East Coast, and then it's the Wilder at 10 o'clock. But you know what? It ain't going to be 10. It's going to be like 10:23.
I wouldn't do I wouldn't go the suck it up and watch routine. I don't know if they did it. That's what some people are suggesting. That was kind of the tone of it. To me, it's just, that's just we know that television rules the roost when it comes to the time for games to start. And if they want to do I guess they would look at it growing the game by doing a triple header and playing games from all over the more. I get it. If you're a Wild fan, you'd rather watch the Wild game. But if you're trying to grow the game, it's okay to watch two teams from out of market too. I just don't care enough personally. But I understand why people would be annoyed by it.
Well, even just from the television network's view, right? Is it really financially beneficial for them to do this? Like a game that, let's face it, it's going to start at like 10:20 our time. That means East Coast is 11:20. Nobody on the East Coast is staying up and watching that. Outside of people living in Minnesota, nobody in the Central Time Zone is staying up to watch that. And even the people living in Minnesota, you are going to lose a potential percentage of the audience that you would have kept around had it been earlier.
I'm sure they've crunched the numbers and that doesn't matter to them. It probably doesn't affect them.
How many people are going to watch this?
I don't think they care.
Is it worth it to them?
Well, what are they supposed to do? Then what do they do with that West Coast game or the East Coast game? They don't want to start that any earlier than they can't start it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
They don't have to do a triple header. They can do You can do a doubleheader because there are 4 games being played that night. 2 of the games are being played at the same time.
I think I agree with Big Ticket and JJ. Suck it up. I mean, what would you like him to play the game in your backyard? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's unfortunate. You know what I would say? Be a better team, be the number 1 seed, and they'll probably placate you a little bit more. They would. I think they would. If the Wild were the best team in the West, they wouldn't be playing at 10 o'clock. They'd be playing in prime time. So be better.
No, they always play the West Coast games late. It has nothing to do with it.
I would say be better. And I think if they were number 1, they'd be playing a little earlier. That'd be my guess. At least that's what the smart thing would be to do, is your very best team should get the prime time slots. That's why they flex games in the NFL, because they're putting the best teams, the games that are the most meaningful, they're putting them in the best, in what is considered the best time slot. That'd be
a little easier in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, far less games going on.
Yeah. This is bothering you.
Of course it bothers me.
Really?
Yeah. The game's going to get over at 1 a.m.
Okay, so once or twice a year, you got to stay up a little later and get up a little
It's not once or twice a year, though.
I get up at 4 o'clock to go golfing, and I don't go to bed till 11 o'clock at night. It's 5 hours of sleep. You can do it for a night, Tana. You can do it for a couple of nights. You can figure it out. Or, you know what you can do?
My kids can't do it.
You know what you do? You DVR the game, and then don't look at social, and then get up a little earlier, get up at like 6, and then watch the game before you come into the radio station. It's simple for you. Don't pretend it's really hard on you. If you had to start your job at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning.
This isn't just me. I would love to have my kids watch a playoff game. They would love to watch a playoff game. Not going to work. You know,
they used to play all the World Series games during the middle of the day. They never played night game. 1968, my favorite team, I was at school. I found a way I got through it. I'm the better. I'm fine. I was fine. What I did, I just listened to the transistor radio.
I'm not saying my kids are going to lead to the life of crime if they don't watch the game.
Right. So they'll be all right. Now I've decided I think I'm leaning toward.
Well, because you ain't going to stay up and watch it. It has zero effect on you. You weren't going to watch it anyway.
You're right. But if it was important to me, I would say, it's unfortunate, but I'm going to suck it up and stay up. That's what I would do. Are you going to stay up or are you not going to watch it?
If I didn't work on this show, didn't work in radio where I feel like I have to watch it, I might not watch it.
God, that's amazing because I work on this show and I don't feel like I have to watch it at all.
Somebody on the show has to.
Well, I can just read the account of the next day. Of course, it could be so late they might not even get their game story in by then. By the time,
just wait till this game goes to overtime. We haven't even talked about an overtime game. What if it goes to double overtime?
I hope it goes to triple or quadruple.
And we're up till 3 a.m.
Would you consider getting in your car and driving to Las Vegas to see the last 2 overtimes? That's been done before. Yeah, I mean, I understand people's annoyance with it, but I just I can't summon up the.
Well, it just seems like they keep getting it. This is worse than it's been before, right? I mean, Wild fans know we've been dealing with these times year in, year out in the playoffs. This has gone to a whole nother level where the game's going to start at 10:20. And I don't see the positive impact.
What would a Dark Star now all of a sudden say? Didn't he have that one when he wanted to change the topic? He would say, "What do you think of?" We've got that soundbite.
Lee Westwood.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. What time does Lee Westwood tee off tend to be? What time does Lee Westwood lead off? Zeev is going to play, right?
They haven't made that official.
Okay.
I don't think he will make. They're not practicing today because they're flying out to Vegas today. So they'll practice tomorrow. Sounds like John Hines will let us know tomorrow. But yesterday's practice, he started, in the line combinations, he was on the third defensive pairing, which would mean you're in. And he also was practicing on the first power play unit.
Ooh. Yeah, you did mention that yesterday.
Now, right. His whole thing was, well, we wanted to give him a look there and see how he did. I guess it's possible if he looked like a complete failure at practice, you'd maybe not go that route. But yeah, he's going to play.
Okay.
And I'm excited to watch him.
Well, you're not going to get to see him because he's going to be on at 10 o'clock.
Oh, it's a 9 p.m. start 9
Sunday.
p.m.
Sunday. So
What's that's late too.
Yeah.
It's on a Sunday, and we got to start it at 9.
But think about this. Let's say it doesn't go overtime. That's 11:30. You're in bed by midnight. And what time do you get up in the morning?
I get up at like 6.
6 hours is plenty of sleep. I mean, come on.
6 hours is not enough. Especially when you're going to get
in the
5 hours 2 days after that.
In the summer, I literally live on 5 or 6 hours a night. Literally.
Do you want a cookie?
No, it sounds like you're bitter. No, it's just, I mean, I'm built different, I guess. I don't need to sleep. Even like they said Richard Nixon, when he was in the White House, he would only sleep 4 hours a night. Go to bed at like midnight and get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. When there's work to do, you have things to do, you're busy, It depends what's important to you. The Wild or sleep. For me, it's the Wild. I'll be staying up late. I'll be watching it to the bitter, and I can't wait. They could start it at midnight. Maybe you go to bed, maybe you get some stomach issues, get up in the middle of the night and watch the game. How do you know that won't happen?
That might happen.
It's happened before to people that have worked at this radio station, where all of a sudden you just, you really didn't plan on watching it because it was so late. Then stomach issues popped up, and the next thing you know, as long as I can't sleep, may as well tune into the game. Do you think anybody believed that story? I didn't. I was convinced that they wanted to see that game. Just say you wanted to watch the game.
Just like a friend of mine was looking at the website for the March Madness pool.
It's like,
and he let me know there might be some incorrect information on there.
I'm going to write a book. I've already written one book. You know that. I've made that perfectly clear. And I'm almost sold out, by the way. But I'm going to write another book. Though Swedberg talks about writing that book, about all the inside shenanigans and all the dirt, because there's plenty of it here at the radio station. And the thing is, when you write that book, then you're going to annoy so many people, right? That you just make a lot of enemies if you write that book. And I just don't know how many people would be interested in it anyways. Do you? If I started, I know a lot of things about meat sauce. Oh, yeah. Actually, there's really nothing, I think, controversial in meat sauce's life at all. Do you? I just don't see anything that there would be. So anyways. Twins, I forgot to check. Who do we got now? We had a day off.
They're in Hotlanta.
Hotlanta. Now, isn't Atlanta been a terrible team in a terrible city this year? Or has it been the opposite? I thought I saw where they were just off to an awful start to the season. But maybe I saw that wrong.
Yeah, they're 5-13.
Yeah, they're very Minnesota Twins-like. So this is two teams. Of course, the Twins did win their last 2 games against the Metropolitans, a quality club. So, this would be, and we referred to Chip Scoggins. He's a columnist, Fish Wrap Factory Westside, esteemed columnist, very good at what he does. Chip and I text and talk more than most people know. We're both Woodburyans or Woodburyans, whatever it is. And I just did I think the main point of his piece, and we talked about it yesterday, is just start playing like you did in that first game against the Mets. And when they beat the Mets game 2 of the series, start playing like that. You might start getting some people to show up at the stadium. It's a professional effort. And they won yesterday's game as well. So now you got 2 in a row, and now you got a chance to build on that. I mean, Atlanta, as we just said, is not a very good team. Now, that being said, we know how, especially in baseball, how it goes. Teams can get well in a hurry. Teams can go on streaks. It's just the odds of baseball with 162. It's that old cliche. You're going to win 50 and you're going to lose 50. It all depends what you do on the other 62, which actually does make a little bit of sense. So I don't know if this upcoming series with Atlanta, is it part of the other 62 or is it part of the 50-50? I don't know, but I would hope. And then they brought up a player, too, I saw on Fish Wrap Factory. They're starting to dip into, they had to on the pitching staff just because Lopez was injured. And again, that was a hammy thing. And I don't know. I've not seen anything as of late. I don't know if you or any of the listeners have, of where we are with Lopez's injury. But he's certainly missing a couple of starts, and they brought up both. I think didn't both Festa and Zebby Matthews both get a start recently, I believe.
Yeah.
The story from Bobby Nightingale, and I think this was a little late yesterday afternoon, or maybe it was 2 days. What's the date today? Is it 18 or 19?
18.
18. So this was late afternoon yesterday after we left the air. Twins promoting top prospect Luke Keschall, Keaschall, to boost lineup amid injuries. The rookie second baseman gets a quick promotion from St. Paul after Wallner goes on the disabled list. And I think you mentioned that yesterday on the air. I think you brought up the Wallner injury. He's a consensus top 100 prospect. He was added to the roster today, or is scheduled to be added to the roster today. That's what Nightingale wrote this yesterday. He says, will be added to the roster Friday. He's batting .261 with a homer, a double, 5 RBI, and a .379 on base percentage in 14 games at St. Paul. He added 4 stolen bases in 5 attempts.
Those numbers will get you in the cleanup spot in our lineup.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Matter of fact, and then if they do what was that rule they wanted to come up with, the golden hitter or the golden bat? He would be that guy too, where you can pull anybody. To me, I don't think they should ever do that. Do you? I mean, I know as time goes on, I realize, as time goes on, things change, right? The game, what's the word I'm looking, morphs, evolves, and sometimes you have to, they brought in a 3-point shot. They eliminated, they had a 2-point conversion, eliminated, brought it back. They make changes, baseball, pitch clock, larger base, all these things. I just think the golden bat thing is ridiculous. You play your lineup the way it is. And if if it just so happens by how it all spelled out during the game, you got the 8, 9, and number 1 hitter coming up. That's the way she goes. But, I think Rosen watched this kid a lot because he played in Arizona State. Mark watches a lot of Arizona. He watches a lot of West Coast sports. He's made that perfectly clear. So I think he saw him. And again, this is where it's one thing to be a highly rated prospect. It's great, but then you have to prove it when you play on the field, right? Like Royce Lewis forever was, You remember, I've teased Lavelle about it. I asked him several years ago in Abbott's office. I said, because he basically said, and he wasn't the only one. Everybody was saying is Royce Lewis is the number 1 prospect, not just with the Twins, but in all of Major League Baseball. I said, if I know this is a silly question, but I'm going to ask it to you anyways. If you knew you could win 1 World Series, but you had to trade Royce Lewis, would you do it? He said no, because he thought Lewis would help the Twins compete for several titles. And then Lewis, when he has been healthy, I think he's kind of sort of lived up to that number 1 prospect until there was a good portion of last year where, remember, he said he didn't believe in slumps, and then he went into a pretty bad slump for a while. But so we'll see. I'd be interested to see the Luke kid play tonight. Don't tell me this is going to be like an 11 p.m. start, is it? Against Atlanta? No, it'll be an early start.
It'll be on the East Coast.
It'll be East Coast start. So matter of fact, you could probably have tea time. Not golf. I'm talking about having tea and crumpets, and then you can watch the game.
We just got to figure out how to get the Wild and Wolves in the Eastern Conference.
Yes. Well, that would be nice.
Let's move them over.
Yeah, and they probably should be there. Let's pause when we return. Lil B, she's in the house. It's Feminine Touch of the program. That's next here on The Fan.